Hello and welcome to another episode of Collin and Curtis in the morning. It is episode 28. It is March 5th, 2016. We are in March, Collin. This year's flying by.
It's flying by pretty fast, I will admit.
Yep. You know what else is flying by is the ships in No Man's Sky. So, Collin, a big preview embargo for No Man's Sky lifted yesterday, or 2 days ago, I guess, if you're listening to this on Saturday.
Yeah.
So that game has a release date.
Yeah, we knew for a while it was going to be June,
Mm-hmm.
but now we have a firm concrete date in June, and that is June 21st.
June 21st, 2016,
Yeah, and
specifically.
and we also have a price on this game that maybe some people were or may not be expecting.
I
It's
feel
gonna
like
be,
I feel like if you weren't expecting this, maybe you weren't paying attention to what this game was.
so the game is going to be $59.99, $60.
$60. Yep.
I was thinking it was going to be maybe like a $40 game. I didn't know if it was going to be full 60, but I didn't think it was going to be $20.
I think when The Witness was 40, I mean before The Witness price came out, I kind of expected this to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with Sony backing it as hard as they are, I was like, well, it's not going to be a digital only thing. They're going to put out a retail box for this. And that's kind of what leaned me towards 60.
Yeah.
It didn't, when it came out, because there was a point on Tuesday when they posted the store update on the blog, and they were posting what the pre-orders were that were going live this week. And they posted No Man's Sky as $60. And people were scrambling. They're like, oh man, because then they took it back down.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it was like, well, that's no surprise. Of course it's 60. Obviously, why wouldn't it be? But that's not the only thing that you could purchase. You could potentially buy.
Yeah,
we've also got a limited edition.
There's a limited edition, yeah, like you do with
which a big surprise.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's got your steelbook case. Apparently a comic book. There's an art book, dynamic theme, some in-game DLC, and that's currently unavailable.
Yeah, we're
Amazon's
looking
not
on
showing.
Amazon.
Amazon's not showing the price on this. I'm assuming 80. That's typically where those
Yeah.
end up falling.
I was thinking about 80.
But wait, there is another one. There's so this one's I guess PC only.
Yeah.
There's an Explorer's edition for $150.
It comes with a replica ship and
So
hand painted.
This is a limited edition of 10,000. It comes with a PC code. A hand painted cast metal ship replica with decals.
Ooh.
Hard enamel traveler pin, a diorama display background, so you can put your ship in front of the diorama. A mystery item, which is I guess valued at $10. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
And
because that's what I like. That's what I like when I spend $150. I like
plus
to make
a
sure
rad box.
I don't know what I'm getting.
I kind of like the idea of there being I don't know. Here's a mystery thing.
Yeah, that's
Hopefully
true.
it'd be there'd be a selection of them and everyone would get something different or something. That'd be kind of cool. Or most people would get something different.
Yeah.
I don't know. Since it's
Then they'll go on eBay and they gotta collect all of them.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? But along with this stuff was a preview embargo that lifted. I don't know if you've read too much about it. There's some more information came out about what is going on. The press got to play this game for about 30 minutes.
Okay.
It's a lot of preview stuff. One thing specifically that came out that I found interesting is there are multiple, we don't really know the total number, but there are multiple alien species that you'll interact with. Now, some of these people you can walk up and trade with them.
Mm-hmm.
But they all have their own languages and dialects. And so you, at the start, will not understand what these aliens are trying to say to you.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these things are going to be very, apparently just very basic. Oh, I've got some things to trade. While others might be, actual quests that you could go on. And so the part of this game that is going to, again, you're going to be exploring a lot. And so part of the exploration, it's apparently finding things in the universe that will allow you to begin to learn these languages.
Okay.
And then that's how you'll start to kind of piece together. Apparently, they were saying that like once you start piecing together like parts of a language, you can walk up to one of these alien like species and try to like test out what you've learned. As you're like slowly like starting to kind of learn how they talk and what they're saying.
Yeah.
So that sounds fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I'm curious how many species there are, like how many of them you'll run into, what types of things that they'll say.
Like, I almost wonder, like, is it going to be a thing where it's like I've heard about, like, with The Witness and, I was just thinking of a game, but just, like Fez, where, like, you have to, like, write down, like, symbols to make it like, hey, this is what this means in this language? Or is it just going to be like, hey, you've acquired alien skill 2, and now you can just read what they say?
They didn't really get into detail. The thing that I thought about was Final Fantasy X. There is a collectible in that game where basically you run into some different groups of people that speak in a specific language, Albed. And have you played Final Fantasy X?
About 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, you run into this group called the Albed. They're not really looked upon kindly, but they speak a different language. And so as you're going through the game, you're picking up these like Albed spheres, these like libraries that specifically they take certain letters and then they change them. And so as you start collecting more and more of them, when you talk to the Albed, there are sentences that used to just look like gibberish are actually slowly starts to become words that you can read. Yeah. And so part of the thing is like you could potentially find all of these and then fully understand that language. So that was the thing that popped in my mind, but at the same time, I don't know. That seems like it'd be crazy to have to write down symbols and stuff if that was the case.
Yeah.
Because of just how big the scope of this game is.
Yeah.
That sounds like that would be a big notebook.
Yeah.
Although at the same time, that would be really cool. Mm-hmm. Although I could see that after like the 100th planet and the like 7th different language.
Yeah.
I could see that being a thing of like I don't know, man.
Yeah. I guess like I've seen like a lot of games like talk about like, hey, they have like a scope and like this is like a really cool thing you can do, and then it's just like, oh well, it's just like a skill in a skill tree that you just click X with a skill point and now you have that skill kind of thing. So I could see it just kind of being like, hey, now you can speak this alien language, but I don't know. I guess it's probably too much to ask and too much to want that kind of thing. But
I think with games like these and they talk about different features, you have to kind of step back and be like, okay, but what is actually feasible here?
Sure.
And that's not a bad thing. You just have to kind of go in knowing like, okay, this is a very small team. No matter how big the scope of this game is, it's a tiny team, and you know you've got to like be like, okay, this sounds like it could be insane. Like no other game's ever done this, but oftentimes you need to be like, okay, well, obviously some of these things are not in the realm of possibility, or maybe they are. I don't know. Because one of the questions was like, well, okay, so you're like, you know, generating all these different planets, but then you're having like quest givers. So like, is there just a really limited number of quest givers? Or are you like, is there some crazy algorithm you've come up to like generate dialogue?
Yeah.
And I don't like, it seems like that's not the case. Like they're specifically writing out things, but that would lead you to believe that the things that these other species are going to be talking to you about are probably going to be kind of limited and not like some crazy, you know, story or whatever. Yeah. But that's fine. I think that's okay. Yeah. So anyways, that is out June 21st. So I when they announced June, we asked, I think on the podcast, whether or not we thought they would hit that date. I said they would. I know you said they wouldn't.
Well, you know, it's still a little too early.
So do you think that this could get pushed back?
I think it could get pushed back still. I think with them having a firm release date, that makes it more unlikely. But I would almost say a bigger question is, do you think...
I think Sony these days having a firm release date doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Well, true, as we all know from this week. But I would the bigger question I would ask would be, with them announcing a firm release date here and talking about preview coverage and things like that, does this rule out VR, do you think?
No.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like they might. I feel like this would have
mhm.
been a time to maybe say it if it was.
No, because okay, I do not believe this is happening, but the argument has been brought up that, well, they've only said 3DS for the new Pokemon games because the NX hasn't been officially revealed yet. And so there are
Sure.
some people who think that there's still a slim possibility, I don't think it will be, but there's still a slim possibility that these new Pokemon games could be cross-gen. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the ideal behind that is that we don't have full information on what Nintendo's next console, handheld, whatever is.
Yeah.
And so my thought is that, well, we don't have a release date for PlayStation VR. We don't have a price, you know, and that
But we.
could be a thing like we mentioned before. Like they could come out at E3, or well, no, it'll be in a few weeks, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
probably,
Yep.
and they could
At
come out and
GDC.
say, well, hey, it's coming out. Maybe they come out and they say, hey, PlayStation VR is coming out June 21st, and
Yeah.
guess what? You'll get to play on it.
Yeah. Sure.
I don't know. I feel like that it just doesn't rule it out because there's still a lot of time, and in between now and when No Man's Sky releases, we will likely be getting a release date and price for the VR stuff,
Yeah.
and so that would be the time to say it.
Yeah.
Although I will say this, watching some of the video footage that came out, which was of the PlayStation 4 version being played,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really a stickler on screen tearing. It was very noticeable,
Yeah.
and it's still got a few months. I hope that gets ironed out a little bit because there was a
Yeah.
lot of it. And I don't like ultimately if that's how it is when it comes out, not going to be a huge deal, I don't think. I'm not screen tearing can be annoying if it's like really really prevalent.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I saw in the video, it wasn't awful, but it was definitely something that like was hard to ignore.
Yeah. Sure.
And I saw numerous other people mention it. So hopefully that stuff maybe can get ironed out. My biggest concern is that the game actually like runs at a steady frame rate.
I would almost say
The other thing, and I have to go back.
server. I would almost say like
yeah,
server. Like hopefully the game works.
with that yeah. But the other thing I noticed is in one of the videos I was watching, and I have to go back and because maybe it was hard to tell because like there was a big tree, and so maybe like just the trees in front of you were hiding this. But I swear there was one point where like a giant animal just popped in, like not that far off in the like it was only maybe 15 to 20 feet away from you.
I do remember some of the. I guess again they were early, but I do remember
Yeah.
like a lot of pop in.
Well, I feel like
with
the pop in
things.
we've seen has been like okay, but that's really far off in the distance. Like in this case, it felt like it was actually really close to like the
Yeah.
point where it was kind of jarring. Again, those are things that were still months out. This is probably an older build, as is usual. So hopefully that stuff gets cleared up. I'm stoked for this game. I don't know about you.
I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say like price is an issue because like even if the game was $20, I still don't know if I'm like ready to just run out the door and
Yeah,
give it my money. But it's probably something I will probably pick up and buy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not. It's not that game that I'm checking the calendar every day.
Right.
To see when it comes out.
Well, we'll keep moving on. Paragon is getting an early access thing March 18th. This is something you'll have to pay to get into. There is going to be a free open beta in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Enter the Gungeon is coming out April 5th. We've already talked a bit about that. Yeah.
So good.
Pretty stoked about that.
Pretty great.
PlayStation TV has been discontinued.
Can we just have a short moment of silence if we may?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Curtis.
Yeah, no problem. PlayStation 4 Firmware 3.5. We talked about the beta last week. Now we have full details. Some of us have the beta, some don't.
Yeah.
But we have full details of what's in it. So here's just a quick rundown of some of the things, some of the bigger stuff. You can now turn on a notification that will let you know when your friends have logged on. We're really just...
It's nice to have, but
Yeah.
I wasn't really... I almost turned this... I turned this off on my PS3. Like, that
Yeah.
notification thing, I turned it off on my PS3.
It's
I
one of
only
the...
use it
There's
on
a lot of
PS4.
articles that was like, oh, Sony's finally putting this in. And it's like, yeah, at least it's there now, so we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
You can now appear offline, which I'm actually kind of excited about this.
I like that, yeah.
Because there definitely have been times where it's like, I'm recording something or trying to do something and would rather not be getting messages and stuff.
And see, it's like it's not... It's almost like better than, or I don't know how to say it, but even on PS3 you just had that like away notification. Like, it wasn't like, hey, you're offline. It was just like, oh, you're away. But
yeah,
I like that you can actually be offline.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
PC remote play. So this is not going to be in the beta, but they're saying that it will be out when the firmware comes out officially. Which typically, if it was like last time, it'll be in the next couple weeks or so.
Yeah.
This is kind of I feel like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I know Xbox has this.
Yeah.
I believe they've had this for a little while. The streaming to PC.
Yeah.
This is really cool. I think that's neat. Also, I guess you could take from that potentially we might be seeing like official DS4 like drivers on PC.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the very near future, which would be a pretty cool thing as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the DS4 stuff I use works really well, but it would be nice to have like an official driver.
I think the one I used is like something that tricks the like it tricks it into thinking it's an Xbox 360 controller, but then it just acts as a DualShock 4.
Yeah, there's I don't remember, it's like DS4 something that I've used since I got a PS4 basically, and it's worked really well. But it's always good to have like an official driver out there. User scheduled events. There's a thing called Play Together. So I guess like it's an easier, like if you're playing a multiplayer game and then we're in a party chat, I guess there's just gonna be a button that I can hit to join your party instantly.
Oh, okay.
Makes it a little bit easier.
So I thought for a minute this was gonna be like the Vita calendar app that came out a while back.
And then you can stream to Daily Motion. Which, I mean, having options is always good. I didn't realize Daily Motion supported streaming.
I guess I don't even really know what Daily Motion is.
Daily Motion is another website where you can like upload videos to. Obviously, it's not as prevalent as YouTube.
Yeah.
Or even, God, I don't know, like Vimeo.
Yeah.
But Daily Motion is another kind of one of those sites. I think it maybe has like less restrictions on some things. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't know Daily Motion you could stream to that, which is interesting. I guess, more options is always good. So there's that. But that's what you're looking at for the PlayStation firmware.
Yep.
Seems pretty good. Like it's hard to tell like from the beta because it feels like the biggest feature it's like not there just yet in the PC remote play.
Yeah.
At least to me, that's kind of the big deal. I feel like appearing offline and friends online notification, like that's kind of you're like, okay, you guys have been asking for this for a while, so here's this.
Yeah.
But other than the remote play, kind of feels like there's not really like a big substantial thing for like a 3.5, but I don't know, it seems fine.
Yeah. I'm happy that it wasn't like, hey, it's 4.0 and this is what's in
there.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like at this point, the only major thing I can think of other than changing our PSN names is like some sort of folder or some sort of better organization.
Yeah, I want folders
on that, because like I've turned on the thing that like limits the number of games showing on the little like cross media bar or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I just have so much stuff there that it's like even starting to get a little laggy. And it's better now that I've kind of limited it, but I'd like to have everything there.
Yep.
And I honestly, the more and more time goes on, the more and more I'm not a huge fan of that specific part of the UI. The way it's like listed out like that. I think having some sort of folder system or some sort of way to organize that stuff would make it a lot better.
And I guess I feel like I liked it I liked the more vertical experience on
Mm-hmm.
PS3 where you'd view your games top to bottom rather
Sure.
than left to right.
Yeah.
So
So I don't know. That's the firmware. So the beta's out now. I know I have it. You don't. Again.
yeah. Oh, you just had to say
But I
that.
can't. I can't send you.
I
I
get
can't
it.
send
I
you
get it.
knack stickers.
Oh my goodness. Oh, see, I was waiting. I was like, oh
I
man.
should check though. I should check.
Are
if
there
they
new
put...
stickers?
Yeah, I need to check if there are new stickers. I didn't think to do that
Ooh,
just yet.
nice. Maybe like a Sonic the Hedgehog
Yeah.
sticker.
So we're getting close to the end. Colin, what are you looking to play this weekend?
So this weekend, probably gonna play some of the Uncharted 4 beta stress test thing. They've been talking about.
Yeah.
Probably gonna play some Street Fighter 5 and have the new season of House of Cards.
Yeah, that just went up today, I think.
Yes, on Netflix, and I'm already 3 episodes in. And it's 13 episode season.
There you go.
And I'm liking it so far. So that's
Nice.
probably. What are you up to?
Oh boy. We've had conversations recently about backlogs. I'm kind of like starting to get to the point where it feels not bad anymore.
Manageable?
I've started playing Dragon Quest IV on the DS. That's kind of my that's like cuz my backlog, like yours is like really big and then mine is like smaller, but it's 80% RPGs.
Yep.
And so that's kind of like the next RPG on my list. Cuz like all of the current stuff I have basically done, which is nice. And so like I've sorted into like, okay, here's the current like PSN stuff I'm playing to review and whatnot. And then here's the RPG backlog.
Yeah.
But I've started playing Dragon Quest IV. You can look for a review of Assault Android Cactus sometime next week. I was playing that last night.
Cool.
But other than that, I don't know. I've really like playing Dragon Quest IV has really made me want to go back and play more Dragon Quest Builders.
Mm-hmm.
That game got a patch the other night. Nothing. I used like a translation app on my phone, and from what that showed me, it didn't seem like there was anything major added.
Yeah.
But I still need to work on my town that I've been building up in the free build mode at some point. So that game is amazing. And hey Square Enix, where's the localization announcement on that game? Just wondering. But other than that, I don't know. That's probably probably mostly Dragon Quest.
All right, cool.
But
Good to hear.
other than that, I think that's gonna do it for us, Colin.
Yep.
It's another episode in the books.
Yep.
Let us know what you guys are playing this weekend, and what you think of No Man's Sky and the new firmware, and send us your condolences on PlayStation TV. And with that, it's been an episode. Thanks for joining me as always, Colin.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
you can follow us. Oh, you want me to take this?
Yeah, you go ahead.
I will gladly take this.
Go ahead.
You can follow us on Twitter at PSNStores. You can follow me, Collin, on Twitter at Bossman, C Crowder, 2 S's, 2 C's. Curtis, where can they find you?
At PS Penguin on Twitter.
All right.
Yep.
And again, we'd like to hear your thoughts. You can email us podcast@psnstores.com.
Or in the comments section.
Yeah, or on psnstores.com. Anywhere, we'll find your comments and things like that.
On Daily Motion.
Yeah. Find us on Snapchat.
Oh,
No,
God.
I don't know. But yeah, you can also find us on patreon.com/psnstores. If you're feeling generous, want to shoot us a buck or two to help support what we do.
Mm-hmm.
If you're up to it, if you want. But Curtis, we have a closing question.
Okay.
What's your takeaway on the Nintendo Direct yesterday?
I liked it a lot. I've seen a lot of angry people, specifically regarding Federation Force, which is a big shocker. But my big takeaway, here's my takeaway. My favorite parts of that Direct were Star Fox, surprisingly. That not Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem game. That it's like Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Sharp
FE.
Sharp
Yeah,
FE.
Sharp FE,
Look forward to that. That looks crazy. Paper Mario, even though apparently it's not an RPG, and I'm a little concerned about it being Sticker Star 2, but that game looks really nice. That'll be a good swan song for the Wii U. Kirby, Planet Robobot will maybe be the best game ever this year. aside from the other 6 games that are maybe going to be the best. Rhythm Heaven should be cool. I'm forgetting things. I know Dragon Quest 7.
Yeah, they talked
A
about.
little nervous that they didn't give us a release date. Hopefully that didn't get pushed back too far into like the
But I'm
fall.
but I mean, Curtis, you're not excited for Disney Art Academy?
You know, honestly, I kind of am.
I was wondering if you would
The
be.
Pokemon Art Academy was really cool, very well done. Love Disney, obviously. That might be something I pick up on a whim. We'll see. There's other things I know, but I'm forgetting. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought there was a lot of good stuff in there. But people like to be angry, I guess. I don't know. All
Yeah.
that stuff in there, like there was a lot of stuff there that I'm like, this is really exciting. Very
Yeah.
excited to get into this. Bravely Second, of course. Like, dude, super stoked about that. Now that Uncharted 4 has been delayed 2 weeks, I got like a little more breathing room in my RPGs, which
Yep.
is nice. But and obviously the Kirby amiibos. So here's to close here because we're going a little longer than we thought. But
Yeah.
in the new Kirby game, they said that like all the amiibos will work because like you tap it and it'll
Yes.
give you like a specific power. And sometimes it's like, yeah, Mario will give you the fireball or Link will give you the sword power up. But I was thinking there is an amiibo coming up. We haven't seen it yet, but we know there's an amiibo for Cloud from Final Fantasy VII releasing. And I want to know, listeners, what you think will happen when you tap that Cloud amiibo to the 3DS while playing Kirby Planet Robobot. Because there is the potential for great things to happen. And we'll see you next week.